Hi, I'm Erin Eldershaw.
Hi, I'm Rohan Dhupar.
And I'm Jessica Sun.
And welcome to the first episode of Frog and Hand's Pedagogy Masterclass series. These next 3 episodes will be geared toward helping teachers be more comfortable, confident, and ready for the spaces that they lead. Today's episode will focus primarily on creating a safe space. We've broken it into 5 categories. What is a safe space? How to begin a class to initiate this safe space? Accessibility, appropriate conflict resolution, and how to give strength-based feedback. A safe space is ultimately a place where every individual feels that they are in an environment that actively supports them. This means not only are they protected from physical harm, but also from harassment, discrimination, and potentially threatening actions, ideas, or conversations. We can't always create a perfect space due to the intricacies of triggers and biases, but we can attempt to make people feel the most welcome and the most comfortable as possible. Individuals who enter your space should feel protected from harm, both physiologically and psychologically.
Each person's safe space looks different, so keeping an open dialogue with the individuals in your room is crucial to ensure that your space remains respectful, free, and welcoming.
In a safe space, each person should be able to feel that their voice will be heard without judgment and that their needs are met. Students should feel like they are able to say no and be met with acceptance and understanding. This is in regards to doing things that make them feel uncomfortable, being around people that make them feel comfortable, talking about things that they would rather not talk about, and more.
Creating a safe space is important for many reasons. Artistic rooms often hold a required risk-taking aspect in order for students to be creative and innovative, meaning they need to be able to be vulnerable in order to take chances in their work. So by creating a safe space, we are creating a brave space so that they feel more comfortable exploring, learning, and making mistakes in class.
Part of a safe space is being very transparent with how conflict will be resolved and sharing with the class that issues will be taken very seriously and with respect. We will dive further into detail about this in section 3 of this video.
When we are teaching, we understand that it may be one's job to give feedback in an attempt to better the work, and this criticism may be difficult for either the teacher to communicate or for the students to digest. However, our choice of language and communication directly influences how a space is experienced. For more on how to create an open learning space and how to give strength-based feedback, please see the final section in this video.
The very first moment is important. You are setting the space for the rest of the learning period. If you're in a challenging space, try to find a moment to yourself before beginning class to let go of any outside stressors. This active release can look different for every teacher. It can be breathing for a few minutes in silence, enjoying a coffee across the street from your place of work, or listening to a podcast. But take the time you need to arrive in a calm, centered, and playful energy so that the students can automatically feel at ease around you.
Start by trying to connect with the students, introduce yourself, and give them an honest snapshot of your professional background, what your training is in, and how you came to be there today. You can always offer your pronouns in this introduction as well to ensure that gender isn't assumed, and if you'd like, you can go into further detail that the class is welcome to express their gender however they want. And if these gender expressions comes with specific pronouns, the space is open for them to state their pronouns as well. This ensures a space where people are free to disclose or not disclose information as they see fit. For example,
Hi everyone, my name is Rohan Dhupar and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a Mississauga-based dancer, actor, teacher, and choreographer, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today.
Once you introduce yourself, and if you have time, feel free to ask the students to also introduce themselves, even offering a set of questions to go with the introductions. For example, have them give their name, what their relationship to this art or class is, and maybe one fun fact about themselves or their day. This opens up the class in a kind of free flow environment where people get out their initial nerves of speaking in front of a group of people and maybe feel like you know them a little better.
Alternatively, if you don't have enough time, open up the discussion to the entire class all at once. Ask them how they are doing or feeling today, and really take the time to listen. Offer them a space to talk to you in private if they have any injuries or accessibility accommodations, and outline when and where you will be reachable. Make sure they understand this is not necessary, but that the option is there if they would like it.
Another one that I love is asking your students what kind of learning styles they lean toward. Kinesthetic, visual, auditory, etc. And do they have any accessibility accommodations in this regard? Is there anything that you can do as their teacher to help them learn? Offering this will give your students the agency to request something from you if they need something explained slower or potentially faster throughout the class. If they want to see you demo the actions, maybe physically move them into a position or explain it in a different way. Each student is an individual and will learn best in their own way. So offering this will help your students feel heard and help them learn to their full potential.
If you feel comfortable, after the introductions and right before the beginning of class, you can also lay down a sort of contract for the class to follow with regards to safety and comfort. You want to make sure that everyone is on the same page and knows that their potential concerns will be addressed in a respectful, timely manner.
This verbal contract can let the students know that it's encouraged behavior to be continually checking in with the other students, particularly about consent, boundaries, and contact points. Establish a system for the language surrounding these topics, as well as letting them know who they can go to if they wish to bring something up. For example,
Thank you everyone for inviting me in and for allowing me to get to know each of you a little better. Let's move on into the work now. As we begin, I'd like to clarify that the space is for you to explore and learn in a fun, creative, and open way. Please be continually checking in with your fellow classmates about boundaries, what you need from each other, where it is acceptable to have contact with one another before the contact is made, and if anyone has any concerns moving forward, you may contact me at any point to address them. Another option is emailing me after class. Let's get started.
This ensures that everyone is on the same page and feeling open and heard before continuing with the work. For how to structure the rest of your class, see the third video in our Pedagogy Masterclass series.
Part of a safe space is inclusivity and accessibility for all, regardless of accommodations. If a student has injuries or has asked for accessibility accommodations, this should warrant a change in your actions and not in your attitudes about them. It is important to remain flexible in how the content of your class can be executed. Ask each individual how they would like to try the action, offer some ideas, but ultimately listen to and support your student with whatever they feel is best for them. The goal is to set the student up so they can be successful and be themselves in every scenario.
Wherever you are, be sure to describe the protocol and standard tools of who to talk to or where to go if a student has something they would like to talk about. If a student is feeling unsafe or unhappy, they may wish to talk to someone, but not be comfortable with speaking to you yet, even if you did offer this at the beginning of the class. A good thing to have accessible is a list of authorities or persons in power that students can reach out to. In every location, this list will change. However, it may include people like an assistant teacher, a permanent teacher in the institution, the board of the institution itself, or probably some emails or websites to support or help with the content of the class. Ensure the students that there will be no repercussions if they choose any of these actions.
If the student does reach out to you, assure them that your conversation will remain anonymous unless they wish it to go further. Assure them that you hold their opinions in high regard and that you yourself will follow through on the accountability of the complaint or issue.
As an educator or leader of the class, it is inevitable that conflicts and difficult scenarios will arise. This may not be necessarily anyone's fault. However, it should be managed carefully and appropriately. Each situation will be unique to the student's needs, so the management of the issue will change with every scenario.
If a student gets physically hurt in your class, assess the situation immediately, but do not bring any unnecessary stress to the situation. Remain calm and, using your judgment, allow the rest of the class to keep working on their own to keep attention off the student. It would not be helpful if the student became embarrassed due to excess attention. From there, you can quietly seek the appropriate care.
The accident that took place may be a learning moment for the rest of the class, but be sure not to shame the actions of those involved. For example, instead of saying someone wasn't paying attention, you can say, "From now on, class, let's take it slow," and be sure to continually be checking in with those around us.
If a student is making light of the safety concepts,
or goofing off,
and this is potentially threatening the safety of others, try having a private conversation with them about it at first, reminding them of the safety techniques you laid out at the beginning of the class and the very real consequences that could take place, and reinforcing the importance of safety. If they continue to do this, you can ask them to take a seat and remove them from the action.
If there is an escalated dispute between more than one student in your class, calmly take them out of a public scenario and ask them to explain the situation from their own perspective and to refrain from being accusatory. Listen intently to each party. Try to resolve the situation between them and encourage absolute apologies without clauses or exceptions.
Conflict resolution is difficult in every aspect of life and will change from classroom to classroom. So try to take every new scenario as it comes and be ready to be malleable and open to new ideas every step of the way. Allowing the time to resolve issues will ultimately help your students feel able to express their opinions and will pave the way for a safer, more open space.